And basically, the major minor versus chozo logic, it creates some interesting dynamics because in chozo logic, you pretty much know where to go. It's like our runners are getting started. You will have a few choices in chozo logic, and as we saw in the earlier race, sometimes those do have consequences. But by and large, a lot of the chozo pieces are how many E tanks are they going to go get at their miners, and how much miner hunting do they
Yeah.
actually need to do?
Yeah, and to answer the question in chat, yes, there are plenty of other items. The other locations will have the rest of the ammo and the rest of the E-tanks, which is one of the things that's different, is now if you go to one of those what we would normally call a minor item, it could of course still be a missile, super missile, or power bomb, but it could also be one of the E-tanks or one of the reserve tanks.
Right? Like for a given location in major minor logic, it's like maybe a 20% or 30% chance of being useful. And now it's more like 50% or 60% because those E tanks aren't in.
Exactly. On the other hand, one of the things we discussed earlier in the earlier race, charge beam becomes maybe a more interesting thing to look for. There always comes in a randomizer seed if with late charge beam. Do you look for the charge beam or do you look for ammo? And now we're going to have a situation where if you're late in the seed, there are going to be fewer places to search for that charge beam. But as far as ammo goes, every ammo item also has that risk of it being an E-tank that at this point you probably don't need.
So they're getting our first Chozo item there, and yes, it is Alpha Missiles is still
Vanilla
missiles.
missiles.
And then Rossu finding a super missile. That is not one of the locations of the guaranteed supers, but it's definitely nice to start off with.
And this could be a late power bomb seed, so that can still be a thing.
And E-Tank at the E-Tank location. Is this even randomized, Tracy?
Well, that super missile kind of says it is.
And of course, Super Metroid is not particularly fun to play without the Morph Ball. The setup still has Morph Ball at Morph.
Yeah, that's really the only place to put it now that the major item is at the missile spot instead of at the ceiling spot. But it's still useful to get that energy tank, and you see the runners doing the deboost or trying to do the deboost. Rasu had to go back for an owl is going to also reset the room because sometimes it's just easier to reset the room than to keep trying.
And in fact, if you go to the Varia website, they have a really cool statistics tracker so you can see how likely it is that certain items will be there.
Okay, since they can't check the other minor items, they're just going to go straight up. We're going to go to Bomb Chorizo. That will be the next item. It will have to be, just like in any other version. Actually, I shouldn't say just like any other version. There is one additional possibility if it's a full randomizer, but still has to be one of Bomb's. Actually, it's going to be one of 4 items. This could be their first Power Bomb pack. Otherwise, it has to be Bomb's Speed Booster or Screw Attack, or they won't be able to progress.
And I believe the gauntlet logic does you can't two power bomb packs does not put gauntlet into logic, correct?
No, it does. You can't get out of, well, with a really lucky drop, you can maybe get out of Gauntlet with 1 Power Bomb pack, but that's so rare that it's definitely not in logic to do so.
But I
And there it
believe
is, Power Bombs.
power bombs. But I believe right the way Chozo logic works, like for Hell runs, it only considers the Chozo items that you have.
uh,
And so I don't know if Gauntlet goes into logic if you find power bombs here. And that is
no,
if there's
no.
a power bomb pack at a minor.
There has to be a second Power Bomb pack at a minor, and that's the same as normal. So, or as the major minor split. And as to the Hell runs, it's not so much that you have to find your 3 E-tanks, because you still have to get other E-tanks, because 4 there's a lot of things that get put into logic at 4. But the real issue is that you have to have all 3 you have to have 3 E-tanks available on the Chozo statues, plus there will be at least 1 more available elsewhere.
So the other items still take into account minor availability.
Absolutely.
Rossu and crossproduct, as well as Owl, go into that 230 missiles, one of the new locations for Chozos. Just supers.
Yeah, it's good they got the power bombs, because otherwise you can't check that location, and you're which Owl decides to pick it up. Thought about leaving it, but this early, without Charge Beam, having those extra supers is very nice. But yeah, it's nice to have those. I would prefer PBs at that location just because, one, PBs open up so many more things, but also it makes that room a little bit faster. And yeah, mostly, yeah, it makes that room faster, and you don't have to fight Bomb Chorizo, and particularly picking up bombs at that location.
I like how Cross Product blows up the G4 door on his way down, knowing that it'll save him a little time later on.
Yeah, it's a strat I like to do.
E-Tank and Supers at the back of Gauntlet.
Yep. Interesting that they're checking.
There's some more Power Bomb packs for Cross. And our next Chozo major item is going to be...
Yep, still gotta check this reserve tank. Ross is going to be... Oh, Cross is going to be the first to show us that. Oh, it's Ice Beam. Kind of a mixed blessing, that Ice Beam location. I'm not a big fan of getting Ice Beam that early, but it is nice to not have to worry about it.
And it is interesting, too, with that a bunch of different Power Bomb packs there. If there was going to be any seed where you didn't need ice and you're just going through, it'd be getting 3 Power Bomb packs in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, you need either Ice Beam or... I believe logically it forces 15 Power Bombs, but you can get through with only 10 through Turian with very, very lucky drop.
Yeah, actually, yeah, 10 isn't terrible. The odds of getting 2 Power Bomb drops is not horrible. You don't want to ever go there with just 1 Power Bomb pack, because then you're virtually guaranteed to have to go back at least once, probably twice, and very likely even 3 times.
Interesting that Ross is going down here. Either he wants some extra miners from Edicoons, or this is why we're doing the practice races. The ball down here is not part of the logic and can only have miner items or E-tanks in it.
Yeah, and I will point out, as you're pointing out in chat, yeah, there really isn't a logic to get to Turian, because at that point you should be able to get to everything in some sort of order, since every seed should be 100%able. Not that I can think of a reason to do that.
Owl also going down, but it does look like Rasu just wanted those extra miners there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how much of this is muscle memory and how much is just, I want more miner items.
That was Spring Ball
decently,
for Cross, right?
Yeah, it is Spring Ball for Cross.
That was at the Spore Wavegate is no longer a major in this logic, but Spore Spawn Supers are, because they're on a stand.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do have the backdoor way of getting to Spore Spawn, so it's not going to make us go there any more often, or kill the actual Spore Spawn boss any more often. As Phaser Beam at charge.
Cross picks up the best beam in the game.
Ross is going to check the Wavegate. This is not a major item here. Could be an E-Tank, though. And it's only 1 E-Tank, it might be worth checking. Link getting his Spring Ball.
So Cross entering... It looks like the runners are going to enter Red Tower with not terribly many E-Tanks. So with that Alpha PB statue, I would bet that most of these runners head up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Their options are, they could go up just for that item. You do see certain runs in Super Metroid where you go get the power bombs, those first power bombs beforehand, and then go down. Crossproduct already going up. We'll see if he just goes for the power bomb item or if he's going to go further.
Have there, when they're making the randomizers, have there been any that explore changing the door requirements?
Some of the door requirements have been changed, actually. So in particular, the door at the very beginning to get over to that ceiling E-tank is usually in the regular game is a red door. And of course, in this one, it's a blue door. And to prevent soft locks on a power bomb search, the door to leave that upper part of Red Tower is a blue door. Normally, it's also a yellow door for to give the runner new player the idea that, hey, yellow doors is power bombs. So yeah, that's already been done and could be done more, I suppose.
I'm one of those people who likes to make the runners sweat for our entertainment. So I've always wondered what would happen if we adjusted the super doors on the way to Rex ship, so that way your supers could be inside Rex ship.
Okay, looks like Link is also going to head up, and it looks like Cross is going to continue on to the Rex ship. We'll see what Owl and Ross do. A little bit behind, still making their way to Red Tower. Oh, CanadianOwl also going up.
Looks like Cross is actually going to check out Gauntlet first.
Yeah, I think that's a good play.
Especially he probably wants to go down Red Tower after Rex shipped anyway.
No, I see no reason why he wouldn't continue on. He also, I don't know if he was one of the ones that shipped it back.
After he finishes out Rex ship, he'll want to go back down Red Tower rather than...
Yeah, well, there's no point. At that point, you have to. I mean, if you're going to complete the game, at some point, you got to go down.
Ooh, and there's Charge Beam for Rossu. I believe that's the Spacer location.
Yeah, that'll be nice. That is... Yep, the Spacer location, still a Chozo statue, is a Charge Beam.
Screw attack for cross product at the Gauntlet. Definitely nice to have this early in the seed.
Oh, yeah.
It'll help them get out.
So it turns out they could have gone here and gotten out. But that's just would have been a lucky coincidence.
Rossu, or sorry, 64-bit Link still feeling they want some more ammo.
Yeah, I see some interesting discussion about the worth of screw attack. I think screw attack is always worth it if you can get it before lower Norfair. After lower Norfair, then its worth becomes questionable because you're probably just going to turn it off for Zeb skip anyway. But lower Norfair is just so much easier when you have that screw attack.
And that just means that you got to get Speed Booster and learn the Speed Z skip, and you don't have to turn it off.
Or learn the down back. There are ways of doing Zeb skip with ice and without turning off screw attack. Okay, crossproduct going to make his way back over to the Rex ship.
Want to take your bets on a number of attempts to cross the moat?
Yeah, at the moment, the only thing he's got is the CWJ to do it.
Only needed one. Rossu taking down Kraid. It's our first boss down. Only gets rewarded with one of two Chozo missiles. So do you think this is going to be a seed where we go into Meridia first, or a seed where we're going to go into Lower Norfair first?
Well, ideally you want to go into Lower Norfair before doing Meridia. And I think the Chozo logic is going to bias a little bit more towards going to Lower Norfair than what we already have. Just because there's only 3 locations that they can actually get major items in Meridia. There's only the Dragon item, the Plasma Beam, and Spring Ball. So one of the things that one of the drawbacks I find with this version of the randomizer is the only thing you can put in logic for Gravity Suit is the Dragon item itself. Now for their regular season, we are not putting that in logic, so there won't be any Force Suitless Meridia in a Chozo seed. When we get to the playoffs, that will be put back into logic. We figure that at that point, the runners that are good enough to make the playoffs are going to be the ones that are going to be good enough to do a full suitless if they so choose, or bank on, or be able to deal with the chance that Gravity's there.
We're also giving us our first one at the high jump item, But I can just hear the players in the regular season having a sigh of relief that the suitless Meridia checks will be reduced after these first few weeks.
And Rossu picking up a nice speed booster.
Looks like we won't be hunting for Canfly this time.
Well, speed booster doesn't help us for things like worst room in the game, so we still need to find something. But we have spring ball. That'll get us through worst room. That also gets him out of the screw attack location. Now, for those of you that missed the earlier seed, the screw attack had the gravity suit, and they needed bombs. Bombs was the only item available outside of Meridia that would get them out of that location, and that was at Croc.
CanadianOwl doing the Ice Beam Hell Run.
Yeah, in theory, I like doing this first because then theoretically you get an E-Tank afterwards. That's of course not going to happen here because he'll get speed booster. Instead he gets instead he gets one of his Chozo E-Tanks, so he'll have to refill if he wants to do more hell runs. But he'll get that speed booster, so he can go straight over to Bubble Mountain if he wants to.
You think Cross is gonna finding the X-ray at right side supers? You got to imagine he's gonna go and at least do the energy tank.
Oh yeah.
So pay no attention to the verses in the middle of the screen. This is, in fact, I believe it's a 10-way race or something approximately like that, with the number of people in IRC included.
Yeah, I count 11 people in the race, so really nice turnout. Okay, Cross is going to at least check the E-Tank. And unfortunately, he does not have a good way to get through this room other than using power bombs to do a tricky little bomb jump.
I believe this is known as the sponge bathroom?
Yep. I have seen this actually be forced in exactly 2 seeds, and considering the hundreds of seeds I've watched between our league and the tournament from a couple years ago, it's pretty rare, but unfortunately it did actually come up last week in the first week of the regular season.
He's only got 4 tries left.
He saved. He'll just reset.
Meanwhile, 64-bit Link trying to get their CWJ, and Rossu into the Ranomizer fight.
Yeah. Probably
Why didn't Cross just spring ball jump at the very beginning?
Where? To get over moat?
No, to
yeah. Spring ball is a way to do this. It is not an easy way to do this though. So this is maybe easier than doing the bomb jump. I don't know. It's certainly not significantly easier if it is.
Cross decides, nope, back to bombing. Looks like CanadianOwl is going to give us our speed booster hell run. Of course, with one change of the chozo logic is Ranomizer is actually a disincentivized check now.
Yeah, by quite a bit.
The location that Rossu just got a missile from in the old logic would be a major or an E-Tank, but now it is not a statue, so it can't have that, and only the grapple beam location itself will give you progression.
Yeah, it could be an E-Tank, of course, but it's not going to be a major item. Oh, and Owl finding plasma beam. Nice. Meanwhile, Cross did make it through the second time around. And we'll see what's at the E-Tank. Okay, Rossu is about to go ahead and check that location, and we'll see what we got. and the little fire fleas. I don't know if those are called fire fleas when they don't glow, but getting in the way. Didn't quite get the jump.
It's not the easiest jump to do without high jump boots.
Yeah, it's more precise when you don't have high jump boots, but certainly doable.
Meanwhile, 64-bit Link still trying to get across the moat and cross product cleaning up an attic. Here's where Screw Attack definitely has some value.
Oh, Rossu finding the gravity suit. Nice. So Croc gonna be in logic required again.
And the real question is a grapple beam for Owl. But the real question is, was this also a forced hell run to get here, or will Varia be waiting cross at the below bowling?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Link gets the CWJ. Nice job, Link.
You have to imagine that Owl, with all the hell runs he's already done, will be close on the heels of Rossu getting that gravity suit. Choosing their Crystal Flash to refill here, not a bad move.
Yeah, their ammo's really good for that. Having those extra power bombs is really nice when you have to do hell runs. And Cross taking his little coffee break as he waits for the Chozo statue to carry him down. So normally you would expect the gravity suit location would be your major item, but not in this case. Instead, it's going to be the missiles to the right.
And most importantly, that nasty Wreck Ship Reserve tank, which is Speed Booster Lock, is no longer progression. It is
no longer an issue.
Minor or an E-Tank there. Oh, just an E-Tank for Cross. So I believe that means we've seen every Chozo location in the beginning part of the game, and that gravity into Meridia is the flip.
It would seem. So we were asking whether or not we'd go to lower Norfair first or Meridia first, and it looks like we are going to see Meridia first.
Question in chat about Hell Run logic. So, correct me if I'm wrong, Tracy, but I believe that to have any Hell Runs in logic, you must have 3 Chozo E-Tanks accessible to you.
No.
And then
to have the 4 tank Hell Runs in logic, you need those E-Tanks.
So Ice Beam is just a 2. You only need 2 then.
Yep. So the Ice Beam, I believe it. Yeah. Let me double check. I actually have that right in front of me.
Yeah, the spreadsheet that I have says Hell Runs require 3 E-Tanks at Chozo locations, with enough E-Tanks available elsewhere. But I wasn't sure if that applied to Ice.
That's specifically to the ones that I kind of run out of space there. That's specifically to the ones that require 4.
But the important part to note is that while the tanks you find at the minor locations can contribute to the requirement, you must be able to find some at the Chozo location before things are in logic.
Yep. And I have to agree with Derp in chat that I would have liked to see Rossu go straight to Meridia with that gravity suit instead of doing these checks here at Bubble Mountain.
I think I disagree with that. This Bubble Mountain check is really close on his way out. He's got Speed Booster to get in and out quickly, and it's going to pay off for him with the Plasma Beam.
Yeah, my understanding, Azure, to answer your question, is for the 4 tank Hell Runs, there needs to be 3 E-Tanks at Chozo locations before they're actually in logic. And then there'll be at least one more in a minor location. Oh, and Crossproduct doing a really nice job of getting to X-Ray without any items to help him out.
Here's another one where I believe the logic is a little complicated. He, of course, doesn't know that the grapple beam is accessible, but without grapple and without Varia, I think you need a lot of E-Tanks before that's in logic.
Oh, yeah. Without grapple, without space jump, without Varia. But here's one of the things that I think often gets lost in the idea of what's in logic. If, for instance, say Varia was easily accessible in the wreck ship, and you still might get enough tanks to do different things in. Basically, that means that everything in Norfair is in logic at that point, because that suit is very accessible. It just means you have to go up there first to use it. Okay, Owl's gonna take his gravity suit and leave, and I suspect he will go to Meridia. Rossu, checking the reserve tank area, which is not a major location anymore, but he does get a nice E-tank out of that, so that'll make it easy to get out. And I suspect he'll also head over to Meridia as soon as he gets out of this area.
Definitely, I'm not quite sure that Rossu has completely read all of the locations yet, because that Norfair reserve tank is no longer.
But that's why we're playing these open races right now, because the league in week 5 is going to switch over to this logic, and we want to give runners ample opportunity to play and/or see what these look like.
64-bit Link getting the spring ball jump through to Spiky Room of Death.
Nicely done.
Oof, be careful there.
Yeah, that energy count is not good, but he did take the safety save beforehand.
I tried so hard to figure out a way to get a dab tile for the other Spiky Room of Death, and I just couldn't figure out a good way to do it.
Yeah, and these jumps that Link is doing right now are not easy to do. He's taking his time, gets it, and he gets the reserve tank. And is he going to reset? Yeah, he's going to reset. I think that's smart.
So it looks like Owl is actually the first runner into Meridia.
That makes sense. Rossu will probably follow him shortly, now that he's done his Bubble Mountain Hell runs.
Although it looks like Owl just wanted to use that to get up Red Tower and is going to do the shit before he actually does his Meridia clear. I think that's probably a reasonable decision. I expect he probably will not clear at it.
I don't know. I think at this point, if you're going to go to Wreck Ship, you're going to full clear it. I would have gone to Meridia for sure, but his movement items aren't great. He does have the speed booster that make it a little bit better, but no high jump, no space jump does make it a little harder to get through Meridia.
Cross product being our final runner, or being the next runner to bring down Kraid. 2 bosses down.
Yeah, actually, it's not a dumb question, Galen. So the question is, why didn't Season 2 start right away with the Chozo logic? Mainly because it's new, and people aren't real familiar with it. We really wanted to take the time to... we really wanted to get the season going, but we wanted to be able to take the time to let runners get used to the idea of this logic before we threw it at them.
And I would say it's also true, right, that if you're going to have 9 weeks of playing, you might as well spice it up a bit.
Yeah, and there was some thought of doing more than one different randomizer anyway, so this was a good way to do it.
And how about you tell chat a little bit about what's going to await our runners on their final week of the league?
Yeah, the final week is actually going to be the most unique, is that we are going to do a boss order randomizer, and each pair of runners is going to get to choose whether their item split is full, major, minor, or chozo. And the runners can choose to mutually agree upon it, or they can each veto one until you're left with only one possible choice. And the playoffs are going to be done similarly, because the playoffs, when we get to it, is best of 3. So game 1 will be major, minor, game 2 will be chozo, and game 3 will be boss randomizer, with a similar system in terms of choosing which split you're going to use.
I've not yet seen a boss order randomizer match, so I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we get further on into the season, we will do some of those in these weeklies so that people can get used to the Ross randomizer. But there's some interesting things that Boss Randomizer does in terms of what you might do. In particular, there's been a lot of joking about seeing the Kraid area save station a lot more. Meanwhile, Owl finishing up Fantoon. Um, because what if you don't have area yet and you hit Ridley?
I'm also, I guess you'll be able to escape from Dragon, kind of, if you happen to be put into his room, her room.
Nope. That's the other, yeah, and that's exactly it. You know, you're gonna want to save before, because if you go to Cray and you hit Dragon, you may not be able to get out. So being able to reset, we're gonna see a lot more saves in places. And Rossu is the only one that decides to go to Meridia. Runs past the E tank at the Baun location. He's good at 5 E tanks though.
So it looks like Ross will be giving us our next new check here while we do the hunt for Varia. I imagine, do you think he's going to head down to Shack Tool or up to Plasma Beam if he doesn't find it here?
You know, I would, without space jump or high jump, getting to Plasma straight from Dragon is actually a little bit tricky. So it might be worth it to go hit the hit Shack Tool first and then go up the toilet to Plasma. No, you can't see that. That is a thing that can be turned on, but we don't have that turned on.
There are definitely many, many different options in the Varia randomizer. Feel free to go to their website and play around with all of them to make all sorts of different seeds for what you want to play.
Yeah, anywhere from things with nothing hard in logic to I get this what I think is referred as the masochist seed. Yeah. So the better way to put it is the major items plus the ammo and E tanks that are required to beat the game, plus the reserve tank thrown in. So there are 25 chozo locations, so that's the 16 major items plus 3 E tanks plus 1 reserve tank to get you to 20, plus 2
Sorry to
missiles, 2
interrupt, but
supers, and
there's
power
our
bombs.
Varia suit.
There you go. Rasu first to Varia suit, so that'll be good. Which one is he gonna check? He might check neither. Depends on how comfortable he is with the spring ball jump to get through worst room in the game.
But sorry to interrupt there, as you were saying of the items that were included. I believe it's we're saying 16 majors, of which you can see on the HUD here, including the grapple and the X-ray. And then it's the item set that you would normally finish out the game in with any percent, except plus a reserve tank and then minus a missile.
More like low percent, because any percent is going to be at least 15 missiles, possibly more likely 20. Whereas the 10, 10, 5 is the minimum needed, which is what you would do in low percent ice, where you only get 14% of the items.
I'm still always impressed. There's like 8 different categories that all get 14%, and we couldn't find a non-glitched way of getting 13.
Yeah.
So Rossu is actually going to have a pretty big advantage here in that they will not need to explore the wrecked ship, and they can avoid their Spike Year of Death and their
Yeah,
bowling.
he won't be going to. Yeah, when he gets to wreck ship, no doubt he's just gonna kill Fantoon and get out. The question is he gonna check any more of Meridia? Like I said, it's gonna depend on how comfortable he is with, because he doesn't have high jump boots, he doesn't have space jump. So his only ways through the rooms in Lower Norfair is going to be using spring ball jumps or doing the very tricky frame perfect wall jump.
That sounds very unpleasant. So, looks like he's banking on Shaq.
I'm going to check Shack Tool. There's a good chance he might find something that'll help him in Lower Norfair because we know that the wreck ship had basically nothing.
Oh, got a spring ball jump up there, Rossu.
Yeah, I agree with John. He's in a Rossu is in go mode, but it's not a very comfortable go mode. And in fact, this right here is very. He's gonna try and do this without high jump or space jump. This is you can't make that wall jump. He needs to either bomb jump up there, spring ball jump up there, or gravity jump up there. His other option is to just do the ice clip, which I think, frankly, is easier.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have X-ray, which makes this clip really easy to do.
Yeah, and he didn't get the screw attack at that was at Gauntlet.
And of course, speaking of screw attack, he could just as easily find high jump or space jump at the screw attack location.
He could. He doesn't quite have those Puyos frozen in the right place, and he'd be better off turning off that plasma beam. Now that's a bit too high. Yeah, I agree with you, Ashter. Not a comfortable go mode, but also not a comfortable Shack Tool check. Okay, that might work. That's a little bit better. Looks like it's a little bit too low. Yeah, the problem with plasma, it's very easy with plasma beam to accidentally kill that Puyo. And cross product picks up his gravity suit.
Meanwhile, CanadianOwl's finished up their wreck ship and will also be heading into Meridia. So Cross and Owl pretty much on the same path now. It's like Rossu says, no more, please. Oh, and it's actually completely abandoning the jet. Better hope that that high jump boots is that screw attack for him.
Okay, Owl's gonna check X-ray as well. He had grapple beam to do it. Decides I don't need those supers. I've got charged plasma. I don't need them. Okay, it looks like Rasu's just gonna go ahead and go to Lower Norfair at this point. He could also go to the wrecked ship, so let's see what he ends up doing. Nope, looks like he's gonna head down to Lower Norfair.
That's a hard choice because you have to know that there's 3 items in wreck ship, and that he doesn't know, of course, that they're all not going to help him. But in his mind, it's very likely something up there would help him out.
Yeah. For me, though, if I know how to do that spring ball jump, I wouldn't have even gone and tried to check Shack Tool or Plasma. I would just go. It is going to be a tougher Lower Norfair for Rossu than some of the others. I think everybody else has that screw attack. No, Owl doesn't have the screw attack, so... Oh, right, because screw attack was a Gauntlet. Owl did not check Gauntlet.
Oh, Owl trying to get the door hit with the spark, but not quite hitting the timing. It's always definitely true. Speed booster just is so useful to be able to move around Meridia.
And Rossu's going to do a high jumpless gravity jump here.
That's way better than trying to go up without high jump boots on the normal side.
Yeah, not exactly free. The gravity jump with high jump boots is pretty free, but Rossu has no trouble with it.
And a smart save to take. has 11 supers to Green Gate Glitch, and so hopefully he's got no problem making it through. Cross product giving us some microwave snake. And Owl doing the same. With one VM missile just to be sure. Will Rossu be saved by the screw attack item? Wave Beam. So that means that one of High Jump and Space Jump are at Plasma or Shack Tool. The other one of the two could still be behind Ridley. We will not know until he finishes that off.
That's right.
I imagine, because of how useful those two are for getting out, that he'll for sure be checking that location behind Ridley.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick check. I mean, it's got a couple door transitions, which kind of sucks, but you're just gonna go in and out. It's not too bad. Rossu setting up the spring ball jump, which is more tricky without high jump boots, but he gets it first try. Nicely done.
So how much super farming are you going to do now that Rossu has the entire beam combo?
It depends on how you feel about Ridley. Me, I would do a little more than this because I'm more comfortable killing Ridley with ammo. But if I mean, most people are, he's got the full beam combo, so there's really no reason to do a ton of farming for him.
Meanwhile, Cross and Owl about to get their Varia right after they both kill the poor Dragon here with this microwave.
And we're going to see another spring ball jump here. This one's a little bit easier because the overhang is not quite as steep as the one in the screw attack location.
Gets through it no problem. So at this point, who would you say is ahead, Rossu or Cross?
Rossu, I think, still has the advantage here. He'll be able to do wreck ship very, very quickly once he gets through. But Crossproduct could catch up, considering he's got the better item set. Having that screw attack is just going to make lower Norfair so much more comfy that we'll see if he can take advantage of that.
You can see that coming into play right there, where Rossu has to charge and freeze the pirates instead of just jumping right through them in amphitheater.
Yep.
Meanwhile, 64-bit Link needs to go kill Crocomire. Always bet on Croc, Link. Come on. Rossu not choosing to take the Ridley save, though.
Yeah, I don't blame him. If he's confident in his Ridley fight, worst case scenario, he only goes back to the top of Lower Norfair, which is not exactly ideal, but it's not like he's going to be going back to the beginning of the game or anything. He's gotten through Worst Room and Amphitheater, which are pretty nasty places.
I imagine he'll full stock up on supers here before going into the fight.
Not with full beam combo. There's really no reason for him to do that unless he's like me and prefers to use it. I personally prefer ammo. But I don't even think I would stock up to full supers here. I might go to like 15 and do like half the fight with charge and the rest with ammo. But Ross is a much better player than I am. He's gonna go straight in, and I think that's the right call for him. So it'll be a 20-shot fight.
Misses that shot.
Owl, I think, did a little muscle memory there going through that sand pit. He laid a power bomb, which is a good way to look at that item, but then remembered, oh wait, this is not going to be a major item, so there's no point.
I believe Cross did the same exact thing. There we go, 64-bit Link. On your way. And that's Ridley down for Rossu. Very nice fight from him. Space jump!
Yeah, Link having a little bit of trouble with that reverse gate glitch.
I know everybody says Spring Ball is the best item in the game, but I thoroughly enjoy Space Jump.
You know, Space Jump, I love Space Jump. It's my favorite item, but it's not the best item. It has some wonky mechanics to it that a lot of people don't like, and I don't blame them.
And of course, Rossu will not get as quite the advantage as the other runners do by having Space Jump, because he doesn't have his skirt.
Oh, there you go, Link. Gets the gate glitch. We'll probably take the Nutella refill on his way down, and he'll be very pleased to see that gravity suit.
We'll see if crossproduct wants to go check out the screw attack item or not. Nope.
No, there's no reason.
Straight
for
into Ridley.
And the wave beam is nice, but the only item that really could help him significantly would be the high jump boots. We know that's not going to be there.
Why wouldn't high jump boots be there? Oh, just because we've seen it. He would. He would.
Oh,
yeah,
he doesn't.
He wouldn't know.
He doesn't know that.
Looks like he's going for the ice freeze to get through worst room in the game. Nice. Are we going to see the high five here with Rossu and Cross? Rossu being really careful with those key hunters on that low HP. Aw, just missed our high five. I'm sure Link is quite ready to be able to move on. I believe he's checked every single other location. He's definitely last location to this one.
Yeah, last location is still a thing in this. Doesn't matter how you distribute the items. Major, minor, full, chozo, SMZ3, Link to the Past. Doesn't matter what the randomizer is. You're always gonna last location everything, or stuff, or it feels that way at least.
So while it definitely appears that Rossu is ahead, and he probably is, keep in mind that both Cross and Owl have already killed Phantoon, whereas Rossu has to go up to the wreck ship and get that kill before he can move on to Turian. Uh-oh, Owl. Don't get trapped by that. Don't get trapped there. Cross entering his Ridley fight. 3 E-tanks, plenty of ammo.
Yeah, and
You
Owl
said,
having...
You said 20 shots for the full beam combo. 20? I do not recall what it is if you don't have weight.
So here with Charge Ice Plasma, it'll be a 30-shot fight. Still not too bad.
And he walked into the fight with 22 supers as well.
Yeah, so he started with supers, I think, and he's now down to 15. Ridley's red now, so he's going to load unload those super missiles. That's a strat I like to use to go ahead and get Ridley down to half energy with the charge beam combo, and then switching over to ammo.
Oh, and Cross saying, I don't need that Ridley tank item. Gonna miss out on having that space jump. I'm a little surprised he doesn't check it. I feel like the time you would save getting either high jump or space jump is going to be worth it, and it's pretty likely that one of the items too is there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's it could also be bombs though, from his perspective, or wait. And I guess wave beam would be useful because you'd have a slightly quicker mother brain fight. But it could also be bombs, you know, and which is also useful. I mean, all the items are useful that are left, but none of them are really needed. So it's kind of a just weigh it against. And he may or may not have kept track of how many of these missiles, supers, E-tanks, and reserve tanks he's seen. He may not have seen them all, so he might still be thinking some of those
And
could be
I
possible.
do not believe we have seen the Chozo Reserve yet.
No, actually, I don't think I'm not sure if we have. Yeah, Rossu will have an easier time over the moat though with that space jump. So it's more valuable to him than it is to any of our other runners.
He had grapple beam though.
Yeah, but even so, grapple beam, the space jump is a lot faster to get through than with grapple beam.
All right, so
he'd be more likely to use that speed booster, given the choice.
So it looks like we're looking at Rossu and Cross here. Cross having to do his Norfair escape and get over to Mother Brain. Rossu, it looks like I think Cross might get to Mother Brain first, but Rossu's going to have the full beam combo. It's going to be really tight between the two.
Yeah, it's going to come down to how fast can Rossu kill Phantoon and how quickly crossproduct can get up there. A bad Phantoon fight, and that could give Cross the lead.
And I believe both runners will have to do Varia on if they want to do a stand-up.
Stand-up glitch works in a few different ways. You can actually leave your Varia on. Actually, neither one could do stand-up. They don't have enough E-tanks, so it's kind of irrelevant. You need to have 7 tanks to do any kind of stand-up glitch. But you can leave Varia on, and it's just riskier because you have to damage yourself down quicker after the initial rainbow beam. Some people will actually choose to take off both suits, which has the benefit of you don't have to damage yourself down at all after the first rainbow beam. But as none of our only Link has enough E-tanks to even consider doing stand-up glitch, it's going to be irrelevant for our other 3 runners.
There's Phantoon down for Rossu. Hoping for, I think we'll see a G4 high five. Rossu and Cross barely missed it before. Maybe they can do it now.
Maybe.
Meanwhile, Owl is making sure he doesn't take a death on the way out. These key hunters, even with gravity, pack a punch.
Yeah, Owl being very careful going through the red key hunter shaft. Link picking up an extra E-tank.
I wonder if this way up red tower is actually faster when you don't have high jump or space jump.
Oh, with speed booster it certainly is.
Rossu taking his ship refill.
But even without speed booster, you can do a gravity jump here, and that's not too bad.
Oh, it's certainly not that bad, but I almost would have just gone up the normal way, I feel, rather than going up the
with speed
up
booster.
red tower.
No, absolutely not with speed booster, because you can make that spark pretty easily. And Azure in chat telling us that it is faster to go this way, and that's kind of what I expected. That is what I expected. But, you know, something being faster doesn't mean it's the strat that one should necessarily do. You got to be comfortable with it. Okay, Link going into doing his Dragon fight. Rossu is going to be the first to hit G4.
Hitting G4 at around 54:58 or 54:48. We'll see what time Cross gets there. Cross is like, should I refill the ship? Should I not? And decides not to.
Yeah, this this could be a mistake. He's only got one super.
Nice speedball through the breakable blocks, though. Actually, he has one super and 6 power bombs, so definitely better hope he gets some good Metroid drops. So Cross entering Turin about 60 seconds behind Rossu. So we'll see if Rossu can get baby. Well, you can't get baby skip without high jump, right?
Well, no, you can get baby skip without high jump. It's just not worth the trouble. It's much more difficult and at most saves a second. I guess that's what I've heard in terms of time save, and that's so it's just not worth the trouble.
And there we go. Cross getting 5 supers and a bunch of power bomb drops in his first Metroid room.
Yeah, super cannon's looking much better for Cross.
CanadianOwl also hot on their heels, about to do past the ship on the way to G4.
And Link, having a little bit of trouble getting out of the Dragon area without high jump boots, decides to do a gravity jump, which is a nice alternative. You could also do a spring ball jump out of there if need be.
Owl also choosing to skip the ship save.
Yeah, his energy isn't much better than Cross's was, or maybe it's about the same, but his ammo is a lot better than what Cross's was.
I think you might want to go in with low energy, so that way the baby drain is shorter.
Yeah. I'd be more concerned about the ammo. Owl's ammo is fine.
Rossu getting the Zeb skip no problem, entering Mother Brain Phase 1. Phase 2. So at this point, as long as Rossu doesn't get hit by the catch-up beam, stays above 3 E-tanks, they should be able to clear this out and finish with a pretty decent time. Owl getting caught by the Metroids and almost dying, and now is at 64 energy.
Ooh, that could be problematic.
There we go, getting back up there with a few of those kills.
Oh, we're gonna get a look at Plasma Beam from 64-bit Link here. Or not. Wait, what? Huh. Did I just miss him checking Plasma?
I also didn't see.
Let's see. The only things that could have been at Plasma at this point were pretty much, I think all we had left was the high jump and the bombs.
Could also have been a reserve tank, but don't see that on. I believe he has one more E-Tank than the last time I looked at him.
He picked up that E-Tank after Batwoon.
No, the baby!
Okay, cross-product.
Sacrifices itself wonderfully for us.
Cross-product starting his Mother Brain 2 fight while Rossu is finishing up the cutscene, while Owl is getting energy drained by the baby. So, all three of our runners being very close.
That's definitely one thing I'll be interested in seeing is if Chozo produces tighter seeds that are more execution reliant on who wins.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the idea. I think the idea when they created the Chozo randomizer was to try to mimic more of a faster speed run situation, because you know you have only 25 locations to check to guarantee that you'll have enough to beat the game. Rossu enters the escape.
Doesn't go for Blue Bomber.
I don't think you can without high jump. Meanwhile, Owl going through his Zeb skip.
Cross and Owl both in Mother Brain fights, with Cross about a minute ahead or so. Will Rossu save the animal?
I doubt it. Although he is a Game Boy GBA Metroid player, so maybe he's one of those that likes to keep fusion in.
I'll
Fusion
keep,
in
I'll
canon.
keep Fusion in the timeline if we can make Other M not canon.
Yeah, well, Other M is only works to me if you make it same as his Psychedelic Nightmare after Fusion. And Rossu about to finish up.
GG, Rossu.
Finishes up with an official SRL time of 1:01:51. GG to Rossu.
Welcome, Rossu.
Hey,
Hello.
Rossu. Nicely done.
Thank you, GG.
So I see you managed to get over your confusion early in the race. So
we figured you might have some questions for us
Yeah,
on what items are majors and which ones are not.
So I realized that things were very different when I found power bombs shouldn't be a BT, right?
They can be in this logic, yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, in the other logic, then
right. So it's probably good that you tried one of these before you did this in a race, in an actual league race, I should say.
Yes.
Basically the way the Chozo randomizer works is there are 25 Chozo locations, and you've now seen them on the spreadsheet because I believe Linares actually posted that in the SRL for you.
Yes.
And in those 25 locations, you have your 16 major items, 3 E-tanks, 1 reserve tank, 2 missiles, 2 super missiles, and a power bomb for a total of 25. And everything else is just split among the rest of the items. Cross-product, meanwhile, finishing up with official SRL time of 1:03:44. GG to cross-product.
GG.
Second overall out of the racers. GG.
Oh man, and then I tried to. So I was like, okay, this is Chozo. What if Spring Ball had something, you know? So I tried to check Spring. Oh, Bomb was at Spring Ball. Well, it would have been useful anyway. So I tried the clip. I couldn't figure out how to do the clip, and after like maybe 2 minutes of trying, I gave up.
You
Yeah.
could have spring ball jumped through the grapple hole.
That's a very, very difficult
Yeah,
thing to do.
it's really tough. Yeah.
It is doable. It is in logic if you have those items, but I don't think it's worth it unless it's the only thing left to try.
So I gave up. I was only I should have checked, but I was only looking for high jump at that point because I really wanted to get baby skip, try baby skip at least. So I was like, you know what, I don't really care if I win or lose. This is like an experience for me. It's my first time doing this. So,
But you only cared about being cross product, right?
yes, I only cared about that.
And then off stream, Pizza has finished third with a time of 105.44.
Sniping Canadian Owl.
Oh,
Just
wow.
barely.
My 13. Well, and that's with Owl saving the animals too.
Yeah.
I wonder if he regrets doing that.
I think he does.
Okay, I think we both. Oh my God! Seriously? There we go. I think two of us tried to move you. We both tried to move you at the same time, I think.
So
How you doing, Cross?
I'm good. It was should have had in the last location the gravity suit, but other than that, it was pretty good. I feel like I played pretty well. If I got the sponge bomb first try, I would have beaten rossu. So I know what I need to work on.
Oh, there you go.
I lost by less than 2 minutes. That was like 15 attempts and a reset.
Yeah.
Well, I also attempted ice clip for spring ball that I didn't get. So.
Why? Weren't you in go mode by the time you killed Dragon?
I was, but I was very, I was confused for most of the race.
Oh, that's fun.
I just wanted to see like, what kind of items you might get at. Like when I was surprised when I saw Meridia at Dragon, so I was like, maybe Spring Ball might have something actually important. So I tried it. I gave up, but it was all good.
Nah. What was behind Ridley? If it was wave beam, it might have been worth picking up.
It was space jump.
That's the least important thing that it could have been. I was thinking high jump boost would have been nice there, but there
High
was
jump would have been nice.
too much of a chance that it wasn't high jump. And even wave beam, like wave beam would save you 10 charge shots, but then you have to weigh those 10 charge shots against 2 door transitions and item fanfare. So it would
we were talking about that, whether it was worth it for you to get it or not. Wave beam was actually at the screw attack location.
I think most of the items that could have been there at that point were at best even. Especially.
No, I think wave beam wins. Wave beam wins. Well, I don't know actually. If you can do like a high jump bootless baby skip, maybe wave beam would be good there.
I think.
Or if you could, maybe high jump would have been. High jump might have made.
You would have been a lot happier with space jump on that Meridia transit there, Cross.
Yeah, I went up the wrong shaft. That was sad. And then I tried to grapple over there and I fell. And whatever. That's just compounding the mistakes I made. Did Rossu do any of wrecked ship?
No. Not
All right, then I beat him. I beat him in my heart because I went wrecked ship first. I had an amazing Fantoon fight. I just kind of relied on the safety of screw attack, but
I actually went directly. I went straight to Croc for that gravity suit.
Oh, wow! You should have finished like 30 minutes sooner then.
Yeah, but like I said, I was very curious about.
Okay.
So when I was at Green Hills and I saw E-Tank there, I was like, "What is going on?"
I was like, "Well, it's 2 items in Bubble Mountain or 1 in Croc," and I had something like 5 E-Tanks and 15 power bombs at the point. I'm like, whatever, I'll do Bubble Mountain. I've got the safety for it. I had a pretty nice jump out of the save room. I was debating whether to do ice beam or jump out, and I did the wall jump, and I did a lot of things fairly well. I think my movement in lower Norfair was pretty good. I struggled a little bit with the worst room in the game, but I got it second try on the second.
Yeah, that was the one of the advantages you had is Ross didn't have the screw attack.
You
never went to Gauntlet.
Doing lower Norfair without screw attack and without plasma, but plasma was at speed or something. So like I had both, but doing lower Norfair without either of those items can be pretty tricky. But
Yeah.
I do have to run. I have another appointment to meet. Thank you very much, everybody,
All
for
right. Thanks
commentating,
for
racing,
joining us,
restreaming,
Cross.
tracking. Yep. See you
All right,
guys. I think I have a race
GG.
tomorrow or something. I don't know. I have to
I
check
think
the
you
schedule.
do.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Cross.
I did not know that Screw Attack was that gauntlet.
Yeah. Well, you guys couldn't really. You guys only had the one power bomb pack, if I remember correctly, when you were there the first time.
Right after
Cross
pizza,
when it.
right?
Yeah, a lot of people checked it right before workship for those that went up there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Owl, for instance, did the Norfair's checks with you, but he chose to go to the rec ship instead of going to Meridia. And then both Link and Cross went to rec ship first. And of course, who knows? We had another 6-7 runners and what they did.
Right. Yeah, this is definitely a very confusing logic for me. So I gotta.
This is why. Yeah, this is in particular. This is why we're playing some of these in these open races, so you guys can all get used to them before, or so we all can get used to them, because I gotta play them too.
Speaking of our other runners, Solsky finishing 5th with a time of 1:08:34. Zeb316 finishing 6th with a time of 1:09:57. And on stream, 64-bit Link finishing up his Ridley fight on his way to Mother Brain.
But yeah, so glad you could join us for this, Ross. I hope you enjoyed it.
I definitely did. It's at least it's refreshing. You know, it's different.
It's different, yeah. That's kind of why we wanted to try it out, to see, put something different in. But somebody that they were asking about in chat earlier, it's like, didn't really want to start with this. Give people a chance to get their feet wet in the league, and then we'll switch the logic on them. So so we have a little bit more variety for the season.
Did you have any more logic questions, Rossu, on what goes where for this?
I have tons of questions. When
I did link. I suggest I linked the spreadsheet for you in the IRC chat after a few of your comments. I'm like, Rossu, just go read this while you're racing.
So what else? What else confused me? Kraid had a missile tank. I was like, what is it?
So
where am I supposed to find things?
So write the 25 locations, of which Kraid's is one of.
2 supers. Yeah.
2 missiles, 2 supers, 1 power bomb, 3 E-tanks, and a reserve can now show up in your primary location.
Yeah, the idea again is that everything you need to beat the game will be in those 25 locations. So, low percent ice runs 3 E-tanks, 2 supers, 2 missiles, and 1 power bomb pack. So all that stuff plus your extra major items in a reserve tank.
Everybody loves the reserve tank, so we had to make sure you get at least one.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
there you go.
I completely avoided all of them. I don't think I even saw any reserve.
Yeah, I'm not sure we've seen. I don't know if we have seen a reserve tank. Maybe we saw one.
I believe one of them was at either I think one of them was at. I think the Chozo one was at Plasma.
Rec ship E-tank. Okay.
Okay, rec ship E-tank. There you go. That's what it was. Because everybody reset over it. Thanks, D-Web.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna start practicing these more. I've been practicing the previous season logic.
Well, you do have 3 more weeks.
Yeah,
of
you
that,
still have.
So
Yeah, you still
don't
have
don't.
Okay.
Just don't try and play Chozo with a major minor C. That might be problematic. Or you could get lucky and I'll have all the items that you need on that path. And some of them do overlap.
Not having high jump is probably the worst thing, especially in Norfair. I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah, your
really
lower
dangerous.
Norfair was not exactly a comfy one.
No, I had to play it really safe. With at least I had wave and charge, or basically full beam combo.
Yep. Yeah, looks like Link did not check the Ridley item, so he does not have space jump to help him out here. Having a little bit of trouble getting these jumps in. He could go up the other door if he could have frozen the fish, but
I have another question.
Go for it.
Are the animal items do they have anything Like,
What do you mean?
majors? Do they
Nope,
have any majors?
Etacoon's does
Oh,
not,
yeah, no.
because it is a chozo ball
It is-
and not a chozo statue.
Oh,
Yeah, same with the wave gate.
And actually, since you didn't do it, it's important to note that the gravity suit is a ball, but the missile that's right by it is on the statue.
Yeah.
okay.
And same thing for the reserve tank. The reserve tank in Wreck Ship is a ball, so both that and vanilla gravity suit locations do not have progression.
Yeah. So it's the Chozo statues plus the boss reward items. The boss reward items being considered the crate item, the Ridley item. Dragon's already a Chozo statue. That one's kind of doubled up, and it's the right side supers that is considered the boss reward item for the wreck ship. Probably to make it a little more nicer in wreck ship before rather than having 2 items in bowling.
The crate E-Tank is a major, you said?
Yeah, the crate item, various.
Where Varia normally is.
But it was
In
a
this-
missile for this one.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
because-
the prize pack for the 25 locations
Include-
includes 2 missiles, 2 supers, a power bomb, 3 E-tanks, and a reserve tank. Can we make that a
Okay.
command?
Okay, that's
You're
okay.
having a hard time getting your head around.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
very
It's-
amusing.
It's very confusing to me.
We
Okay,
need a
now
bot
I
command that is
I think I
rewards or
played-
something like that.
So when this logic came out about the end of the postseason, end of the playoffs last year, I started playing these just to see what they were, and let me tell you, I was just as confused as you were, so as you are now. So it took me a while to figure them out, and even then, I had to get help trying to create that list that's in the spreadsheet.
Good. So, okay. Figure it out.
You got about 4 weeks to figure it out because we got 3 more weeks of the major minor logic and then a week off to in between logic changes. So you've got a little bit of time.
Then Ross, just wait till the last week where when you walk into Crate, all of a sudden you're fighting Ridley.
Yeah.
That's during the playoffs, right?
No,
the
last week
of
of
the regular
Last
season.
of the regular season is a
Oh,
boss
man.
order. Boss
Good.
randomizer with you and your opponent will be making the decision as to what kind of split you use.
Okay. I'll just see if it was a playoff thing, then I could have fixed it so that I didn't make the playoffs.
It's only for 1 week.
That is going to be an interesting week, though.
Okay, so because there's 1 Chozo E-Tank, 2,
Three in a reserve.
so the rest can be in minor locations.
Right.
Okay.
Or non-Chozo locations.
Alpha PBs. Wow, I didn't even consider that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I don't think it was anything interesting there because I missed it like every time somebody went there, but no one gained anything. So
It's a good thing for Rossu that it wasn't anything interesting.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and head on out of here. But thanks for the
Alrighty.
commentary and the tracking.
Yeah. Thanks for racing, Ross, and
Yeah,
for
it
joining
was-
us.
It was really fun. I definitely had fun with this one.
And congrats on first place and a seed, even if you didn't know where a third of the item.
Didn't know where you're going. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that I feel like I was very fortunate in finding gravity early. It already determined my route. It,
It definitely won you the race. So good
yeah,
choice.
that really
Always
grabbed
bet
me.
on Croc.
Meridia.
I didn't know what to do because I was like, I got 3 E-tanks. Oh, these hell runs are gonna suck. So I was like, I'll just check Croc.
Yeah.
And so it turned out to be a really good check.
And
like I said,
Dookie,
the
normally the Croc E-Tank, right, is a major. It's not in this. It's just it can be anything but except progression in Chozo logic. Only
Yeah.
grapple.
Could be an
is
E-tank,
a-
but I think this time was like a missile or something.
It was a missile. Yeah, I speed jump. I blue suited right into it. I was like, okay, I'm like, see, when I picked up those missiles, I was like, now do I check croc PBs? Do I check cosine? Like, what do I need to do? So I don't know. And then yeah, and then I found gravity, and like I said, it just basically determined my entire routing from there. And you know,
Yeah, it was fun.
yeah, it was definitely fun. But yeah, I gotta head out. Gonna
All
walk the
right.
dogs. But thanks,
Oh,
thanks
gotta
again,
do that.
guys. Yeah, they've been getting really antsy now. So
GG, Rossu.
all right, GG.
All right. Looks like Link's gonna finish this out.
Meanwhile, we had Kajata. I don't know
I think
if
he
they have
goes by
another name they go
KJ.
by.
Yeah, I think he goes by
KJ.
KJ.
KJ finishes 7th with a time of 1:14:48. So, what kind of interesting situations can you see happening with the Chozo logic, Tracy? We already saw one of them earlier with the no fly.
Well, I really think it's going to be interesting to see how many more items people skip.
As they get more comfortable.
Yeah, because the ammo requirements aren't very high if you expect to get that charge beam, and so no, you're not really want to go in with only 10 supers and 10 regular missiles. But if you decide, I'm just going to go for charge beam. Getting more of an any percent loadout in terms of your ammo might seem like the way to go, and it'll be interesting to see how many people go for that and what the results are when they do.
Especially as they get more comfortable with the logic and learn what they can skip and what they can't.
Exactly.
But then, of course, it's going to be interesting because if you're assuming that can really bite you if hell runs end up being required and you're really low on those E-tanks.
Yeah. Okay, Link is not going to be able to do stand-up glitch here. He already took his Meridia suit off. Oh my god. Calculated. But yeah, he already went down below the threshold. End up need to have 6+ E-tanks worth of energy to do that. In the meantime, Strautlog finishes up in 8th place in the official SRL time of 1:21:50. So Link's gonna have to sit through this whole cutscene. Although, to be fair, we had no stand-up glitches on Restream here, so the other 3 just didn't have enough E-tanks to going in.
And of course, if you haven't gotten enough randomizer, there is the combo randomizer, normal logic seed tomorrow, and then we'll post the link in chat for all of the league matches and where those are being listed. There will be plenty of those throughout the week.
Yeah, we've actually got 4 races going tomorrow. At 1 o'clock, crossproduct is already mentioned that he's playing. He'll be playing Hubert. At 6 o'clock, we have D-Drag versus Stump. At 8 o'clock, we have Solski, who was on our earlier restream, versus Lenifus. And we have the all-Canadian matchup at midnight between CanadianOwl, one of our restream runners, and French Lightning John. We have French Canada versus British Canada. So that'll be all on the Randomizer League channel. And Link finishing up his Mother Brain 3.
I wanna have let's get 50-50 saving the animal.
I'm not sure if Link is an animal saver or not. We'll find out. Yeah, this escape can get a little bit tricky when you don't have high jump or space jump, and so Link's gonna have to wall jump his way up that side. He does manage to do it. Gonna go for the win for the moonfall, didn't quite get it.
I'm reminded of the crowd control races where you can do baby speed, and having so many people die without their right items here in escape. Oh, there he goes.
Yep.
Of course, he could just be going to torture them. What is... Oh, I thought he was going to leave after doing that. And bonks. With his final down press on the ship, 64-bit Link finishes with an official SRL time of 1:26:43. GG.
GG to Link. All right, so while his credits roll, that is going to pretty much do it for us. Again, make sure if we haven't mentioned this, you should definitely follow these guys. As we'll be seeing them throughout the season. So if you haven't already, make sure you follow them. You can also follow, thanks to Plumps for doing our tracking. So we'll put that up there too. If you want to follow Lunasarian or Plumps, you can feel free to hit those buttons. I'm on there too, but you know, I don't ask for your follows. I'm just glad you're all watching and hopefully enjoying these races.
Same here. I don't ever actually stream, but if you're gonna follow me, then you should just come and watch when we do dab matches, which try to happen once a week on Saturday.
Well, there you go. And thank you to everyone. Thank you to Lunaris for joining me, to our runners for being restreamed and allowing us to show them, to our tracker Plumps, to the Speed Gaming family of networks, in particular Mind of Me, who did the setup for us today, for Kekka Minshoyu, who helps behind the scenes, making sure that we have time slots in order to be on the Speed Gaming channels, and of course, as always, to Fiesel for just running speed gaming in general. Without him, we wouldn't even have these great networks to show ourselves off on.
I must say, I've been very impressed by how the tracking tools and everything comes together. It is really a slick setup.
It really is. So, yep.
GG everyone, and until next time.
All right. I'm going to let the credits run, but I'm going to sign off. As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you may be.